Time to buckle up. The season's about to begin. What is up, Spurs Nation? It's media day. Today was media day. I'm bringing this to you post, all the good stuff that dropped in the morning. I do work. I do have a day job. It's hard for me to get away from teaching and coaching and to record these things, but I find time for y'all. So, Drive-Thru Spurs takes with your boy Rob from a Bucking Spurs podcast. I'm so thankful for everyone who watches these videos, all of you guys who are subscribing to the podcast and downloading it there and following me on social media, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff now. I want to talk a little bit about the media clips, right? The media, the interviews from the players. It started off with DeMar DeRozan. Dejounte Murray came out. Then we had Rudy Gay, Derrick White, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Pop. Okay, now I'm going to keep my take short on this video, and you can get the full length, thoughts on all that stuff on the podcast that I'm going to create tonight. That should be out tomorrow. So make sure that tomorrow you guys go ahead and check all that good stuff out. Really quick on DeMar. DeMar seems excited, and I feel like coming into this season, he said it himself. He's like, this year I'm excited. Last year I was nervous. And, coming into a new city, he was in Toronto for 9 years, and it was like all new, and it was drama, and it was like, man, expectations, and it was just, trying to live up to whatever, or trying to, prove Toronto wrong for trading him, and ultimately that didn't go well for DeMar. But DeMar seems so excited, so ready to go this year, and he said something in that interview that I've been preaching for the past, I don't know how many weeks now, since free agency ended pretty much. And that's that we have one thing, and that's continuity. And DeMar DeRozan went to say that too. He said chemistry is the most important thing. And when they asked him about talent and the West, he's like, chemistry is what we got. We have a lot of guys that played together now, and he's very excited to come into the second year, and his mindset is ready to go. And I'm gonna get into more about DeMar DeRozan in the pod, but overall I was very excited by what he had to say and his attitude. He just seemed more relaxed, and to me, a more relaxed DeMar is a level-headed, more methodical, more analytical, surgical with what he's trying to do. And year two is always better than year one for Spurs players. Remember that. Okay, so next was Dejounte. Dejounte asked a lot of questions about being ready, and he's ready. And his mindset was, he's like, it's not the injury, the ACL injury is not even on his mind, right? That he doesn't play in fear. That he plays fearless. So to have that in his mind would go contrary to that. So he's ready to go. He's ready to get back to where he left off and prove that he still belongs and he's still the man, and that he can be an all-NBA defender and things like that. So I'm excited to see where he picks up. Sorry, driving right now. Same time, Drive-Thru Spurs takes. So Dejounte had a lot to say about his leadership, and there was something that was brought up in DeMar DeRozan's interview about Dejounte sending him a video on a film breakdown of DeMar and what Dejounte can do for DeMar on the court. And see, that's the type of leadership that I'm super excited about when it comes to Dejounte, is that he's going to be able to lead on and off the floor, on and off the court, and that's going to be super exciting. And so it was good to see all that. Now let's get into Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay talked a lot, man. Rudy Gay was just he was happy, man. He was just like, yeah, I dove into his hobbies in the summer. That's something I like to do too. When the school year ends and the season ends and all that stuff. It's like in the summer, I just don't want to have anything. I don't want to do anything with basketball. I just want to dive into my hobbies, this is one of them. And Rudy did the same thing, and he came in talking about, they asked him about, was he scared about not coming back to San Antonio, and he was saying that, this was one of the years that he let management do their thing, and he was hoping he came back, and well, he did, and he's excited to be here, And he said that mid last season, it's one of the most important things he says, that it was kind of like mid last season where he started to feel like himself again. And we all saw that. We all saw Rudy Gay be Rudy Gay. We saw him like take a time machine, the hot tub time machine, back about 5-6 years ago when he was really doing work in the league. And so for us to have that Rudy Gay come in for 2 more years is a beautiful thing. And he sounds like he's ready to go. He's excited about Lonnie. He was very high on Lonnie Walker. Said that he's been taking strides. And that's true, man. It's going to be exciting to see these guys play together. He talked about DeMar Carroll, too, and that they've played together, and he knows what DeMar brings to the table. And when they play together, he notices that, DeMar is a guy that glues everything together. He can do everything. He can bring all these pieces together, and he's the one that makes everything work. And so that's very exciting to hear about DeMar Carroll coming from Rudy Gay. Then we had Derrick White. Derrick White looked kind of silly. I don't know what it was. His jersey was too big, or I don't know. I don't know what it was. He just looked kind of funny. But there was a lot of talk about his Team USA experience and how that's going to help him, and that he was thankful for that experience, and it was just a crazy summer, but he enjoyed every minute of it. And of course, he wished that the results would have been a little bit different, of course, with Team USA, but he learned everything. He said he learned a lot from the coaching staff. He learned a lot from just being around talented players that he was around. And he didn't take much time off once he got back. That once he landed back from China, he took 3 days, he said, to get over the jet lag, and then he got right back to work, So he says he feels good. He says he feels ready, and we all know that this FIBA experience is going to do wonders for Derrick on all types of levels, man. All types of levels. Being a good person, being a student of the world, you know what I mean? Like being a good Spur. And his confidence level on the court obviously is going to go up. But I think his feeling of calmness now is like that he belongs. That's the most important thing. And they asked him about Dejounte, and he said that, he's used to playing against Dejounte in practice, and that was his role last year for the past 2 years, was to come into practice, be that guy who pushes Dejounte. So he said he's excited to maybe, and he was going to leave it up to the coaching staff to see, if they play together or not, but he thinks that they can be one of the better backcourts in the NBA, and that's going to be the goal. It's like, that's not just the goal for him and Dejounte, but that's the goal for everybody. And that was very promising to hear, and that these guys have a defensive mindset that's ready to go. Then we got to LaMarcus Aldridge. Man, what a snooze. Man, it's hard. He makes it so hard for us as fans to really embrace him, because, man, I love what LaMarcus does for us on the floor. I'm one of the few people who thinks that we should keep him around as long as possible, because what he does for us is something that it's hard to find. It's hard to find a guy that can give you 20 points and be a really good, solid defender in the post, and to be a great teammate on the floor. LaMarcus just doesn't do any of his talking. I know he mentioned Portland like 3 or 4 times in this, in all these questions, but man, it was just like, it sounded like he had just woken up. He's like, what? Yeah, yeah, no, no. Did you add anything to your game? No. I'm just me. I'm gonna do me, man. And that's that. So that was the most boring interview. And when it was kind of funny how he walked off when someone asked him, "Do you think there's still a place for you in this NBA?" And that's when Pop was like, "Hey, let's go get out." So he didn't even get to answer that question, because it's a ridiculous question, man. Whoever asked that question, come on, bro. Like, of course there's a spot for him in today's NBA. He's not like a back to the basket, like, only bruiser type of player. Come on, no, dude. He's got mad moves on the block, yes, but he got that mid-range game. He can play small ball 5. Like, come on. Is LaMarcus Aldridge, is there a place for him in today's NBA, dude? Come on, dude. And they kept asking him all these old questions. He even said, he's like, why do y'all keep asking these questions? Like, if I'm old and I don't, like, do I have anything left in the tank? Like, LaMarcus looks in shape. He looks ready to go. He looks like he looks like he's just a pro, man. He's like, this isn't my first, media day. He's like, I don't care about this. He's like, I don't care about y'all coming in. He's like, I'm gonna come in here and do my job. And that's what he cares about. And so for us as fans and media people and the people that want content from all this stuff, yeah, it kind of sucked to see LaMarcus didn't really give us much. But as as I dig deeper into it, I'm actually kind of glad that he has that mindset, because he's not about the hype or whatever. He's ready to go. Like, he's just here. He's like, no, it's another season, and the expectation is what it is. It is what it always is. But yeah, it was kind of a snooze. I think if you're looking at interviews, like, you can go ahead and skip LaMarcus Aldridge's interview. But he did say a couple good things about the Spurs, how this is one of the organizations that doesn't have a lot of high turnaround every year, so he feels that we can pick up right where we left off last season, because we're bringing back a lot of the same pieces, and we can just build off what we did. And again, that's chemistry and continuity that I'm talking about. That's going to be our X factor this year. Now, finally, Pop. Let's talk about Pop. Pop was, doing the usual Pop thing, just kind of shutting all the questions down, shutting people down and whatnot. But I think that when they were asked about Marcus Morris and Davis Bertans, you can obviously tell that he was hurt that we had to let Davis go. So when he was asked about the whole Marcus Morris thing, he said that he felt blindsided and it was very unprofessional, and you can tell it bothered him, because here's the thing, man. Davis is one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and it took a lot of work to get him there. Like, it didn't just happen. We worked with his tail for years, overseas too. Like, we had been bringing Davis over to play in Summer League for a year or two before he actually came over here. We had invested in Davis, years and years and years of work, and to have the whole thing shake down the way it did, and LaMarcus Aldridge Marcus Morris doing what he did, and we had to give up Davis. A project, is like a child of ours that we'd been working on for so long, and had been coming into his own. He'd been getting better every season. Davis had been getting better every season, but like I've said my piece on I think it's an upgrade. DeMar Carroll's an upgrade. I'm not gonna lie to that, but we had to do that in free agency, where it's like we put a lot of effort and time into Davis, and to see him leave for pretty much nothing, man, like that's where I feel like, man, the league should step in and be like, hey, whoa. Like, when that happened, I felt like we should have been able to backtrack too on what we were doing with Davis, and the league should have stepped in and been like, hey, that was unprofessional. The Spurs just lost a player that they had drafted, had done all these things, everything that the league is trying to get players to do, and give teams more incentives to give players to stick around. Like, we had done that with Davis. We had given him a $7 million a year deal for the past 2 years or whatever. He's been making good money with us. So we had done everything right. But since Marcus Morris did some bullshit, we had to get rid of him. Like, dude, fuck no. Like, I'd rather have had Davis on our team. Don't get me wrong, because that type of shooting doesn't come around that often. And he was like, dude, it was just you could tell that bothered Pop. But Pop was usual Pop things, not really giving much away. He said we're not gonna have much limitation on Dejounte Murray. But we're not gonna go ahead and start him and play him, or he didn't say start or not, but he did say that we're not gonna play him 35 minutes a game or whatever. So I mean, that's normal. So I mean, those are some of my drive-through takes. I'm gonna dissect those videos a little bit more and drop another podcast probably tomorrow, either if not later tonight, tomorrow. This is Monday, 9/30/19, Media Day. A beautiful day in Spurs Nation. Media Day's back, baby. We got to see pictures of Lonnie Walker. We got to see pictures of the young of Keldon, of Quindary, kind of behind the scenes. We saw Dejounte and DeMar have a little bromance thing going on. I think that was much love. You know what I mean? I see that's going to be a big difference coming into this season. Our goal is to stay healthy, man. Keep everyone healthy, and we should be something to reckon with. I forgot who it was said that we're just so deep this year. One of the interviews. Again, I'm going to go back and dissect all this stuff. But thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us on the podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe button down below. BuckingSpurs.com is being worked on right now, so it should be up and ready soon. Thank you guys for showing all the love. Okay, again, we're part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. They got a lot of podcasts on there. Make sure if you like podcasts, go and get you a podcast on Big Heads Media Podcast Network. And share the love, baby. Go Spurs, go. It's going to be a fun season, and we just got started. Give me some nasty.